Peace to all the gods. Peace to all the goddesses. The name of the show is called The Highest Frequency. And I'm your boy, Ibutola Mabut, Thomas Aquinas, the 2020 God in Jendai. Today's show, guys, is very, very, very special. Oh my word, it's amazing. Eish. You know, I was talking to Slug this other day and I was like, you know what, man, we should invite Penuel to the show. And I think this was like 2 months ago. And then I was like, eish, yeah, man, Penuel is so controversial, man. We want to know how his mind operates. Like, can we please get this guy to the show? And guess what? You know, I'm gods. We make shit happen. We make things happen. We got Penuel, the black belt.
Jeez, you also do this hype thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I struggle with that shirt, bro.
I need to, it gives the show.
You know, if you watch the Penuel show, we normally start in conversation to avoid all of this. Hi guys, welcome to the Penuel show. Today we are. So it's just like I said, first man, you via grand is keep on the highest frequency. Ngoba ngithanda ukubhema iland. Ngithanda ukubhema ibheke icele. Uthi ubheke icele namaplaza.
Allegedly.
I'm very honored to be here. I apologize that it's taken me as long as it did. But I'm really honored and I hope the conversation is going to be dope.
Hey, the conversation is definitely going to be dope because it's going to be eye-opening. Because tonight we don't talk about the things that most people talk about. Eh?
Yeah.
You guys kind of sugarcoat things a lot.
You think so?
Yeah. In terms of how black people should be like.
Huh.
But before we get there, I want to know more about you, Dad.
I've said a lot, man. I can give you a summary of
yeah, just in
my
short.
life.
In short, yeah.
Yeah.
How did you?
For your
like,
guests.
where did you grow up? Like, what kind of a setup was it? Like, was it a rich family? Was it a poor family? Like, what kind of schools did you go to? Just in brief, in short, yeah.
So I was born in Matadeni, township of Newcastle, section 4. From there at age 5, we moved to the suburbs, Arbor Park, and then Central in Newcastle. Went to colored schools until grade 3. Then Mandela and the boys decided to, like, you know, let us mingle with the whiteys.
Were you old enough by 94? Like
94, grade 3.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, so I started studying in white schools. Newcastle Junior Primary, Senior Primary, High School, matriculated. And then I moved to Emakanda, Grahamstown, to go and do my undergrad at Rhodes in the Eastern Cape. And then from there, University of Johannesburg, in Johannesburg. And I've been here since. You asked about home, ne?
Yeah.
We'll call it a single mother household. My mom was a school teacher almost all my life. She became a vice principal at some point.
Okay.
3 kids, she was carrying us financially by herself. Bond was her, school fees, food. My dad stayed at Lokshini when I was 5. He was initially a building inspector.
Okay.
And then when I was in grade 6, he quit. So
were you guys
chose money.
Christians?
Baptized Roman Catholic, but not Christian like black people. We went to church now and then. We didn't read the Bible at home.
What do you
We
mean
didn't
not
pray
Christians,
before we
like
eat.
black people?
Black people go to church every Sunday. And they go to church for hours, boy. See, now we were Roman Catholic. On average, probably once every 3 months in my life,
Oh yeah?
we'd go to church. And Roman Catholic churches are very routine, so it's 1 hour.
So now you're trauma, yeah.
Trauma.
Yeah.
You be trauma.
You know, some people that are no longer Christian,
Yeah,
they always say, hey, they used to force us to go to church. That's why I hate church.
sure.
And I think it affects them when they grow up.
Of course.
That's the trauma that I'm talking about.
Nah, none of that. My
Well,
mom
you
was
were
not
never
that
forced.
person. My father was not that person.
Mm.
So yeah. My father was a Lokshini. He was a building inspector. He quit to blew his money on women. He owned soccer teams and he used to breed greyhounds. So he bought a lot of greyhounds. It was a good time for like a year and then his money was gone. And then he bummed off my mom and some of his other girlfriends until he died in 2020.
Oh,
Typical South African dad.
typical South African dad.
Yeah.
The part about not contributing, the part about owning soccer clubs and breeding greyhounds, I think is a bit unique. And my father was a bit of a boss and an alternative thinker. I just didn't know it at the time. But as far as not contributing, having a lot of kids with different women, not really providing for his kids, 100%. Typical black South African father
What was
story.
your take, well, like when you were seeing him with different women? Like, what did you think about it?
I was lucky. I'd call it lucky because from when I knew my father, ngesiZulu kuthiwa beyisoka, you know, Casanova. So I've never not known my dad. I've never not known my dad to have women. My dad would drive around with us and mac on women with us.
That's normal. Typical South African dad.
But it's not cool, dog.
Who says it has to be cool?
What's not cool?
It affects the kids, dog.
What affects the kids?
Look at you, man.
Look at me? Okay, look at me.
We're gonna get there.
Oh.
But when now you got multiple baby mamas,
Yeah,
and your father had multiple baby mamas,
100%.
you took it from him?
Maybe. I cannot say yes or no. I do not look up to my father in terms of having lots of kids with different women. I grew up wanting to have what's called a stable household. Marry a woman, have our probably 3 kids. My brother calls them 2.5 if you do the numbers. Have our 2 or 3 kids. And just live a normal, typical, whatever we see on TV life. It was only later on that I changed. But when you look at how I move and how I've had kids and what I think about kids, I think there's a big chance that it might be genetic. But I cannot confirm.
I think it's genetic, though. Now I got kids.
Okay?
I think it's by nature.
I disagree. I think human beings have kind of fucked up nature, to be honest. I think there was like a natural way of doing things, and I don't think it had to do with fucking everything you can see. I think there was laws of the jungle, and you wouldn't just... If a guy's got a woman, you don't just walk up to him. I mean, you see it with animals, like lions and stuff.
Yeah.
They're not going around fucking all the lioness bitches. You know, there's some level of order. I think we created systems of polygamy at some point, monogamy, and now today we're living in like the liberal world where the entry and exit to a relationship, not even to a relationship, to a smash, is so low. I meet a girl at a club, we don't even need to know each other's names. I come inside and next thing she's pregnant. So I don't think it's nature.
Yeah, but it's evolution. And so
That's
Do you know
debatable.
that sometimes your higher self might take you to places without you consciously aware of what's happening?
What's a higher self?
Christians would say your spirit, right? Like abantu ababeliever in ancestors, amadlozi bazothi amadlozi. They can lead you. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's what I'm trying to say.
But you need to believe in that first, no?
Yeah.
If you don't believe in it, your higher
No,
self
it
can't.
depends on who you believe in. Like, because amadlozi, I can see you believe in your ancestors.
Some people are is it agnostic, not agnostic, it's nihilism, something like that.
What's Penuelism, dog?
It's you know, these questions are coming fast.
Yeah, they should come. Like, we want to understand.
You said we should have a conversation. Let's have a
We
conversation.
want to know. From Christianity to Penuelism.
What was the point of you saying your higher self can take you somewhere?
I thought about my own.
Because we're talking about kids, right?
Yeah.
And nature, and you're speaking about evolution.
No, I was talking about that sometimes you might meet a girl in a club.
Yeah.
Ganti, Vele, when you're not even aware
There's
of
a
what you're
purpose.
doing. Yeah, maybe there's a
Yeah,
higher
cap.
purpose.
It's bullshit. Fuck that. You know, fuck
you know
that.
exactly
But
what
there's
you're
some sense
doing.
to what I'm saying, dog. I'm
No,
sure
no,
people
look,
get what I'm trying
if
to
you
say.
do believe in the whole, if you're a Christian, if you believe in God's plan and He knows the beginning
Yeah.
and the end, He knows your life inside out, if you believe in fate and karma and those things, sure. There was a reason that happened. There's a reason you were in downtown Jozi at 3 o'clock in the morning on your phone and you got it got stolen. But there are people that don't believe in that. And they're like, you are the center of your universe and you're your God.
Yeah.
So whatever happens, it's your fault.
Yes, God.
And you have the ability to stop doing dumb shit like getting drunk and fucking random hoes. You know, I don't think that's a fucking higher self and that type of shit.
Guys,
But some people may. Some people may believe in that. That look, it wasn't you, and this child you're birthing might come up with the cure for cancer, might end world wars, whatever. Maybe. I don't know. I do not really lean to that anymore.
so you don't believe that everything happens for a reason?
Nah.
Okay.
And I don't believe in karma
And then
either.
You don't believe in karma?
Anymore, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
But currently, right now, Penuel, as you say, Guti, okay, when it comes to religion, back then, under a household, Kama Oledi, today, under your household or how you live your life, what do you believe in religion?
That's a tricky question. I believe that religion has its purpose, just like the law. Religion is a type of law. It's a way of life.
Yeah.
So,
Or some would say a way of controlling people, but
Yeah, it's a way of
continue.
controlling.
like the law. Like the law is
Yeah,
a way
like-
of controlling people.
Exactly.
So it is very useful for most people and arguably very necessary for most people. Most people without those laws, those religious laws would
In
be
a
a
limit,
mess.
doggy religion. You know, when you think a certain way, when you're religious,
Sure.
like there's this part where you can't cross because
Of course.
when
And you're
you
not
cross
supposed
that line,
to.
you're not like you're blasphemous, man.
100%. Same
'Cause-
same with this the normal law.
Mm.
You can't go to Cyril and be like, hey dog, I want your seat, I want to be president. It's like, no, there's a way of doing
It's a
it.
way of doing things.
So
You know,
you're
the
very
highest
right.
frequency, my nigga, we are gods. Yeah, we just wanna.
I
me-
disagree, but sure, I hear you.
No, we are gods.
Nah, fuck that.
We are gods.
Okay.
Yeah.
Penuelism.
My way of living.
Yeah.
But I want to know about Penuelism. Maybe I might join Penuelism.
Yeah.
You never know.
Hey, I hope you don't.
Why?
Because I'm trying to build like an elite belief system that is very exclusionary. I'm not trying to recruit.
Why
like,
does it have to be? Why do you have to exclude certain people?
because I'm building a belief system for a higher sense,
Mm.
a higher thinking, higher conscious human.
And then what's the purpose behind it?
Okay, so I don't think there's a real purpose to life. I think you're born and you die, and in between you're supposed to keep yourself busy with something that stimulates you. For some people it's sports, for some it's a job, for some it's I want to serve society, I want to go to war, fight for my country.
Mm.
I've been trying to figure some of those stimulating things in my life. Along the way, and very early on, our destinations are implanted from an early age. You want to have a nice house, you want to have a nice car, great family. Those are not yours. They're implanted and you're programmed every day.
Yeah.
School, mainstream media, everywhere you go. What are you doing after matric? Where do you study? Like, it's not even like your choice. At some point, I bought into the I want to be rich argument. And I was like, I want to make 100 million and be rich and create jobs and all this stuff. Then later on, I studied money. I believe in depth. And in studying money, I realized money is not the thing. Some people speak about the natural resources, which is the land, the animals, the rivers. The real battle on earth, for as long as human beings have been conscious, is human minds. And
Thank
the
God
thing
you
is,
say that.
and the thing is, what are the best tools to control and influence the human mind? And today, money is probably the most powerful. It's more powerful than religion. People will forsake their religion for money.
Mm.
But beyond religion is just the idea of I
People
can
will
influence
sell out
you.
their own people.
Yeah, yeah,
With money.
yeah, yeah. So Penuelism just becomes a belief system that competes with the current belief systems. And the goal is to try and control and influence minds. As many as possible to create a world that I feel is better. It may not be better, it may be worse, but it will be my world that I feel.
It sounds
better.
it sounds as if you guys are saying the world was much more better before the introduction of money.
Who's you guys? Both of us?
Yeah.
I don't know. You don't believe in money?
In what sense? Like everybody needs money.
Everybody needs money.
Yeah.
Money was poisoned. It was infiltrated with evil. So money was easy. We used to barter.
Yeah.
I have
but
water.
that's
Yeah.
exactly where I'm going.
I have water, you have something else that I need, and we exchange. Then later on, it becomes a headache. Because what I want, you can't give me. What you want from me, I can't. But we create this community where you're like, I know someone who might want the water. I don't need it now. But instead of the water, give me a note that I can use when I go get bread. So that this guy who might want water can come to you one day and get the water. So money became a middleman. But like a common middleman. Because we all need the money to get to the things. But then the introduction of interest, profit, speculation, inflation,
Yeah.
it turned money into something that it was never meant to be. And today, the richest people, they play around with those things. You and I can have the same resources, same amount of land, same amount of livestock, same amount of But because I can play around with your money, with your mind, sorry, using money and tell you, well, the euro is stronger than the rand. No, but inflation in your country is not stable. Whatever you own can be worth less than what I have. Africa's the wealthiest continent on the planet, but the poorest in money terms. Because people fuck around with money. They'll take the same diamond, give you $50, tell a story, De Beers, and then come sell it back for $50,000.
Yeah, you don't
That's
have
bullshit.
the resources.
So money has been bastardized, and that's why, as a concept, I no longer believe in what it used to be. But as a base, using money as a means to get things and to exchange, come work for me, I'll give you money to go buy food. As a basic concept, it's very convenient. Or it was convenient.
This current system is not working out for black people.
Okay. Who's it working out for? Sorry.
It's working out for the other guys.
White people,
Yeah.
Indian people,
Yeah.
Chinese people.
Yeah. Black people don't have access to the resources.
When you look at the data, you know, Africans are arguably the poorest, but the Indians, the Eastern Asians, a lot of the white people in parts of Europe, especially Eastern, big part of South America, are also poor. Maybe not as poor as Africans, but they're also poor. There's a small percentage of human beings in the whole world that money is serving. But yes, we can keep it to black people for our purposes.
So from where Penuelism is standing and looking at what's happening in the country, where do you think it's like where are we missing it?
Missing what?
The government side of things. What's happening? What should change?
In government?
Yeah.
Are you talking about black people, money, or just
2024
government?
next year. We got load shedding, fuel is expensive, everything is expensive.
Repo rates are increasing.
Black people can't afford to buy shit. Water has cholera. They're trying to kill us. Like a lot of things are going wrong, dog.
Yeah.
They're trying to kill us.
Yeah.
So what's your view on what's happening right now, and what do you think should be done?
The leadership on the African continent has not been placed there to serve black people. It is people that have been handpicked by certain funders locally and abroad to serve their interests. So most African leaders are not about African people. You need to understand that the old school European mind sees Africans as just another commodity like a cow or a sheep or a goat. Only as useful as labor. Even this concept of land, like our land, the old school European mind doesn't see that as your land. It's almost like cows revolting and saying, we want our land back. Like, you're a cow, dog. I'm going to eat you in a burger. That's kind of how they used to, we'll call it dehumanize or look down on the African. Literally, we were seen as just wild creatures.
Because we welcomed Labantu Spali with open arms, come on guys, come.
We
Let's
don't know
make money
that.
together.
That's a story.
And then Chigi, the kings and whoever was running things decided to sell us out.
We don't know that. We don't know if we welcome them.
I
But
heard
that is the
Zulu,
narrative.
The Zulu king sold us out.
Which is looking.
Ding.
Dingani. Nah, I don't know.
You don't know that?
Nah. No. What I don't know is I don't know if he sold out, but yes, there are narratives along those lines. But anyways, your question was about
He
government.
sold us out by accepting these missionaries to come through and teach us all these bad things. That's what I'm saying. Because now, black people, all they know is what they were taught. They don't even know who they are.
Yeah.
And the power that they have. You spoke about freeing minds with the Penuelism. Are we going to free black people's minds? And how do you plan on freeing black people's minds? Because you're always complaining about black people not being woke.
Yeah.
Black people being, you're even trying to segment black people now.
Sometimes it feels as if you've even given up on
Black people.
Sure.
But you're a black man.
Sure.
I think you should be fighting to wake up more black people and start seeing how we see things from your view.
So I'll take it a step back. So most African leaders are not here to serve Africans. So that's the first thing people need to understand when you ask what's wrong. In South Africa in particular, I think even as representatives of local minority and global capital, the guys that are running the country are doing a bad job. You know, the solution is to have another group of leadership contest for power. Unfortunately, it won't be to contest to liberate Africans. it will be contest to be the next representative for minority capital, for the rich.
So are you saying there's no alternative right now?
Right.
Alternative what?
Party.
Alternative party or alternative leadership
That
to make
people
things.
can, yeah, to
Are
make
you
things
talking
better.
about politics?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not even talking about politics. Whether it's politics, the
No,
church,
but the leaders.
it could be anything. I'm just saying, if you want to help black people, when you speak about cholera, when you speak about load shedding, load shedding
That
comes
has to
from
do with politics.
load shedding comes from electricity. You know, we have to ask fundamental questions like, do we need electricity? And if we don't need electricity, what do we need? We have to ask fundamental questions like, do we need water from a tap that's purified, or can we get spring water from the mountain? So you just need an alternative leadership group, whether it's political or otherwise, that's going to try and fix some of these basic ills. But ultimately, capital is going to want to dominate those people for their own interests. Mining, farming, manufacturing. That's my answer to you in terms of what is the solution to that.
Okay, I guess what maybe we wanted to ask is alternative when it comes to politics in SA with the current leadership
Dog,
that
we need to
have.
change.
Is this assuming that politics works?
Well, it doesn't work, but
the
it
current
controls
system.
it controls
controls
the,
the-
it controls the country. I
Yeah.
guess.
So assuming that politics works.
Well,
Because if
clearly
I
it
answer you, it has
doesn't
to
work.
assume. Because I told you that mine is beyond politics. They can be church leaders that on pieces of land can create
Yes.
spaces where people have clean water, good electricity, free Wi-Fi, and a functional society. Doesn't need politics in the traditional
but
sense.
you know these church leaders move with politicians. Am I lying, good?
No,
you're
some
not.
some of them do. But all I'm saying is
Oh.
there's a life beyond politics. We mustn't minimize our thinking to like money and politics. There's life beyond that.
That's
But if you just want to
Penuelism.
ask about no. If you just want to ask about politics, we can speak about politics, like who to vote for
Yeah,
and why.
I think let's get into
But
it.
there's a life beyond
Nah.
politics, and a part of waking people up is to get their fucking minds out of. It's not just the church and politicians and money that will solve your problems. There's something beyond that, and as long as you're thinking in those spheres, you can't really be free. You know what I mean? From a political perspective, most of the parties are similar. Some of them are a bit better than others. Some of the guys are promising some things a bit more than others. But in terms of real delivery, they should show it. And most of them don't have proof of concept. Most of them can't show you a town. A town that is like, do you see what this town looks like?
Yeah.
That's us. So give us a province. Do you see what that province looks like? Give us a country. They don't have proof of concept. They just have ideologies, ideas, and selling you dreams. You're trying to sell me like an alternative t-shirt, but you can't even show me like a sock you've made. And I must just believe that you're going to give me a better t-shirt than the next guy. But the ANC has to go because they've become super arrogant and they seem to just, they're not even pretending to care. At least the other guys pretend to care. These guys don't even give a fuck anymore. So they need to, we'd rather have people who pretend.
But you can't say all of them. Someone will say-
2024
someone
is
will
our
say
1994,
generalizing
dog.
Generalizing who?
The whole ANC. Because the ANC.
The whole
is a-
ANC.
Yeah,
No, the ANC is an organization.
yeah.
Yeah, so we can only judge by their own organization. If we're going to say South Africa's fucked
Penuel
up,
Mnyam.
there's parts of South
Listen,
Africa
man.
that are fucking dope.
Listen, my
But
guy.
we're speaking as a general. And as a general, the ANC, unfortunately, they might be good people. There might be some good work they're doing.
But the image right now is just fucked.
The organization is fucked.
Oh yeah.
There was a question you asked, sorry.
He was saying Uguti 2024 is similar to 1994.
2024 is our 1994. But I wanted,
But are people ready
I
to
wanted
vote
Penuel
for
to
change?
understand that people should vote for change.
But
And
voting
Penuel
for
is
who?
saying there is no better party right now. Because they will all just
so
be wearing
what do
a
you
different
think is going to
jersey
happen
color.
in 2024, Penuel?
I think
If you could like estimate.
yeah, if I had to bet like 100 Rand
Yeah.
with people, the ANC is going to go under 50%. And then they're going to have the opportunity to choose between the EFF and the DA on who to form a coalition with so that they can run the country again. So they will run the country again.
Yeah.
But it's going to depend on who they're partnering with.
So bazongena nge-back door kahle kahle.
Yeah, yeah.
Who's,
So
who's going to vote for them?
who?
Mm.
The ANC?
Mm.
A big chunk of the same people that voted for them before.
Who are those people?
Ah.
I mean, I want to know, dog.
The
'cause
black-
now we are in
the
the
black
dark.
masses.
We are in the dark now.
Sure, the black masses.
Who's going to vote to be in the same dark?
The black masses.
But black masses,
Really?
man, come on.
So people are really gonna vote for ANC?
People are definitely going to vote
They were
for
voting
the
for ANC 2 years ago when it was local elections. It's just the ANC didn't have like a
And voting
outright
for the
majority,
ANC for
but they'll
how
keep
many
voting
years
for
with
the
load
ANC.
shedding?
The ANC's got a lot of stakeholders, we need to remember. It's not just the parliamentarians.
Yeah.
So there's the parliamentarians, 200 and whatever. Those guys are going to vote ANC and their family members and their relatives. The tenderpreneurs who get tenders from ANC, them, their families, some of the people that eat from them. The people that are school teachers and cops, and it's because they had
Civil
ANC
servants.
affiliation,
Yeah.
they will vote ANC. And then the poor masses who don't like the EFF and are like, fuck the DA because it's racist, they will vote for the ANC. The tribalists who are like, fuck Zulus,
Are
I'm
those
not
the-
going to vote for the IFP, they'll vote for the ANC.
Are those the
So-
clever blacks that are gonna vote for the DA? Do you know the clever blacks?
Who are the clever blacks?
You know
But
the-
clever blacks should vote for the DA.
No?
Yeah, or Action SA.
Are they with Action SA or
Yeah,
DA?
but Action SA and DA, it's the same thing. For me, it's the same project. Dlalwa ngabantu
You guys
kuphela.
don't finish questions here, ne? I need to keep up. Fuck me.
No, let's get to the AfriForum part, ne?
No, wait. Before we get to the AfriForum part,
Okay.
he spoke about how he says ukuthi ANC izongena nge-back door. Either it's going to collide or collude with the DA or
Or the
EFF.
EFF. Yeah. The better coalition is going to be the DA. And John
What do you
Steenhuisen
mean?
has publicly gone on to say they are willing to form a coalition with Cyril.
Yeah, because the EFF is their number one enemy.
It's
But-
because, well, that's partly, but it's also because the way Julius moves,
Right.
the things he's gonna want from the ANC may not want. Julius
Like-
might ask to be deputy president
and what's wrong
and might
with
want
that?
like 3 ministries. No, you must understand the ANC doesn't want to give away anything. And if they do, they want to give it away to people who are kind of similar. You must understand we've got some white ministers
Yeah.
in the country. So if they bring in John Steenhuisen to be in charge of economic development, and they bring in something like a clever black, to be in charge of health, like Umpopala, it's
I'm not
like
a
it's
clever
okay.
black, man. I'm not a clever black.
You know, it's okay because it's someone, it's people that they kind of understand and kind of agree with.
But come
The
on,
EFF
Julius
is gonna be a
also
bit-
from the EFF, majority
ANC.
from the ANC.
Yeah.
And the majority of EFF members are from the ANC.
But he's
How
gonna want to
could
show
they
up. He's gonna want to show up the ANC,
But
which
what's
is the
wrong with
difference.
that? Because at the end of the day, angithi they are colluding or colliding.
Yes, like-
Inika mina thatha wena.
Yeah, coalition in this country, the political parties are not ready because they all don't want to give away something. That's why they keep collapsing. Tshwane,
Yeah,
Joburg,
I was
Ekurhuleni,
about to say so.
even Nelson Mandela Bay.
I was about to say so. And now, are you in favor of coalitions, even though you can clearly see what's happening in provincial or whatever in the lower ground? Uthama coalitions zenza kanjani?
I'd rather have a coalition than the ANC win an outright majority. I'd rather have chaos with the ANC knowing that we don't want them.
But nothing
Anymore.
changes if
But
Mangabe
that's fine.
ANC still comes back in a back door and
Sure.
then it says
But Black Pen, we need
Things will
change.
change. Yeah, you're not going to get it, unfortunately.
We need
If you
change
guys
now.
think next year the DA is going to win and run, it's not
no,
going to
no,
happen.
no, I never
No.
said that.
No.
I don't think
You must
there's any
understand they're the
political
official
party-
opposition. So if someone else were to win, if the ANC, for whatever reason, goes to 30% and the DA is at 25, and now the DA is speaking to the EFF and Action, and they're like, look, we can take you guys to 50 and John Steenhuisen will be president. That means the DA will run the country. Not necessarily that they will win 50%.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's either the ANC will run or it will be the DA because they're the strongest opposition party. The idea of the EFF running, it's not realistic. If it happens, it will be wild. But based on the numbers, it's not realistic, unfortunately. So we have to be
So
realistic.
maybe 2028,
9,
2029,
I think.
maybe Julius.
You guys want to keep holding your breath. It's not a way to live, bro.
Nah, man, 2024
Fucking fix your
is
life
our
where you are.
1994.
But there is no Mandela, man.
Oh, man, we got Malema. Did you get that right? Anyway,
AfriForum, Penuelism. I never answered the question on Penuelism or finished answering.
yeah.
But I figured out you guys don't finish answering questions or asking questions. So.
Now,
It's
I know today we got all the time. That is like you want.
Yeah, because we don't know. Probably like, I need to dip
Maybe
now.
when you don't really like opening up about
The
everything.
biggest thing, Face, is memory cards.
Mm.
How are these struggles that we have in life? My memory
People
card.
don't know.
Mara azi simnandi vandaag, ne?
Flames.
Serious.
Flames. Proper flames. So you can be a Penuelist and your employees and your friends and everyone else can be like Christian or Muslim. So that's what I'm actually trying to do. But more than anything, it's trying to influence minds. It's trying to build a better world. And for people to kind of have some level of peace, man. Like you can be not rich, but at peace. And I'm hoping we can get people to do that. Buddhism did that very well, and so did Rastafarianism.
Yeah.
In terms of getting people to just be at peace and be happier and not constantly be frustrated.
Yeah. I feel like also with Christianity, some pastors, they can't really translate the Bible the right way.
Okay.
They are leading people more astray to where they're supposed to be getting into.
Okay.
With just understanding a simple thing like the temple of God, what it is.
Sure.
It's the body. You should take care of your body because you're a God, man. I'm all about awakening you guys. Guys, today in Petit God, so please be with me. Follow me, ne? Follow me. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying. This is why interpretation is debatable. The Quran is not debated. It is discussed. So their scriptures are quite straightforward. But the academic Islamic scholars, they're willing to discuss and explain and whatever. But unlike Christianity, where the Bible has got so many interpretations, that's why everyone learns Arabic. Because everyone learns the Quran in Arabic, one language. Not Zulu, yeah, no, it's kind of one language and it's one word, which I think is pretty dope.
That's amazing. That's amazing. You know, I saw a video, Yaga Penuel talking about how deep this Eskom issue is. It's way deeper than we think.
Sure.
Nabanda Bashai sabotage.
Sure.
What do you know about that, though? Tell us about that.
Oh, I don't know anything.
You don't know anything?
I know nothing. Gayton McKenzie released a series of posts on Facebook mid-December 2022 where he was breaking down the trucking mafia, the coal mafia, the maintenance mafia, and the political issues around Eskom. And then a couple of months later, Andre de Ruyter sits with Annika Lawson and speaks about his 3 years at Eskom. And then he released a book, True to Power.
Okay.
And he kind of detailed the same thing. There's a lot of different stakeholders involved at Eskom that are trying to eat. Some might be trying to destroy. Is it because they're just after money? Or is it that they're trying to destabilize the country so that it's easier to take over? I don't know. We spoke about the Chinese off camera.
Yeah.
If ever you were a foreign entity and you wanted to take over another country, the easiest way is if the country's in shit. Because if the country's great, no one can come in. So you destabilize it. Not necessarily to speak about the Chinese, but just as an example.
Yeah.
So it may not be them. It could be the old apartheid guys who are like, we want the country back. So we'll show up a shitty ANC that's fucked up and we will destroy them. Because we supply the coal, we own most of the mines. We do most of the maintenance. I mean, the biggest tenders at Eskom and government are white. So it's like, let's fuck these people up.
Sorry to cut you
so
off.
that they look bad.
You mentioned something about the coal. I've always asked myself, why are we transporting coal but we're having issues with electricity? Isn't it linked? Like, what's happening? Why are we taking it overseas?
We've always been exporting coal.
Okay.
And it's because our coal is not owned by the state. And the whole supply.
What do you mean it's not owned by the state?
Once you own a mine, once you own a company that sells coal, that's your business. You can choose whether to sell to Eskom or someone else. If you bake bread and the shops have no bread.
Wait, don't we have our own coal plants
that are not owned by the state?
I don't know what you're asking. Maybe we have to break it down.
He's saying, do we not have like co-owners, or basically doesn't the government own any coal? Doesn't it produce its own coal?
So does
it only outsource all the time? Because you explained there's this coal mafia thingy.
Yeah.
How do we get to a situation of a coal mafia? Government can deny
and
this
why
thing
are
itself.
we exporting that coal?
Sure. So the government does have a state-owned enterprise, which is a mining company. But whatever that mining company does, it's not big enough, and it does not have enough capacity to supply Eskom. So because of that, you have to go to private mines. And the guys in the private mines, they mine different qualities of coal. With the different qualities of coal, there's also different prices. And normally when you export overseas, you make more money. The bottom line is that you don't need coal for electricity, which I think is another thing South Africans don't understand. The only thing coal is used for is to fire up the boilers so that you can have steam. and the steam is used to turn turbines. And the turbines plus a magnet is actually what creates the electricity. We've got 400, arguably 400 years in reserves of coal. We've got more than enough coal
Yes.
to power this country for a while.
For 400
So
years.
even with the exported coal, it's not like if it wasn't exported, we'd be fine. We're fine even with it being exported. We've got enough coal. So the issue is not that we don't have enough coal. We've got enough coal, even including the exported. So there's
Yeah.
other issues at play. The issues are not 1 + 1 = 2. The issues are like 1 + 28 = a banana and a donkey. Something's not making sense, and that's why like the people that come into Eskom to look at the problems come out and they're like, the issue is not what people think it is. Like, oh, the light bulb is not working, go get another light bulb. Oh, it's not switching on, it must be the wiring. It's not 1 + 1 = 2. There's another issue. You're trying to hit the switch and someone's like, don't touch the switch. What the fuck do you mean, dog? Don't put a light bulb, take it out. And put what? Leave it. We're trying to investigate if bananas can light up the room. And you're like, yes, sis. You're not trying to solve a problem here. Right now, we've got load shedding issues, and Abu Cyril are signing $8.5 billion deals for alternative energy. Why are we speaking alternative when we're dealing with power issues? Why was Andre de Ruyter saying we need to go green when you can't fucking just switch us on with coal and say, look, we're on now. Now that we're on and good, can we start looking into other things? They focused on some other shit. Because clearly it's not about solving the problem. It's to appease different stakeholders. And a lot of these stakeholders, unfortunately, are very violent. There are people that are being killed in Malahleni, as an example, every week.
Straight up.
The
every
media
week.
doesn't report on
The
it.
media doesn't report about
Just
that.
like in the Cape Flats, people are being killed every week. The media doesn't report on that shit. But they were reporting every single day about COVID. Whatever. It's bullshit.
Cape Town is the most beautifulest city in Africa. But they don't talk about what happens in the Cape Flats.
America's good at that, by the way, at that propaganda.
Yeah.
You believe there's no poverty, no suffering, no anything in America. But America has got, most of it is dog shit.
Especially LA. There's a lot of homeless people in LA.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, there's a homeless crisis going on over there. But you'll never see it on
Nah.
the TV.
That's
do-
why they
do very
only
well.
show the poor side of Africa.
Yeah. I mean, my
They
brother...
make us look sick, dog.
My,
Have you
brother,
seen-
my brother and I were showing, we're shooting a podcast, and one of the things he said is when he got to Rhodes, his mind was blown that there's like white Zimbabweans. He's like, what the fuck? In Rhodes University. And not only did we like get to befriend white Zimbabweans, it was also a lot of the rich black kids at Rhodes are Zimbabweans.
Oh, yeah?
So many rich black kids.
So
you're
it's
like,
even more crazy. to
dog,
meet
you're
a
from
rich
Zim.
kid
You should be
from Zim.
poor and asking me
Yeah.
for bread.
It's not even like that.
So you realize it's propaganda, and you're
Yeah,
right.
it's
When they sell
propaganda, bro.
Africa out there, it's just poverty. When they sell America and Europe to here, it's just wealth and whatever. But things are not as they seem. Because there's agendas at play, of course. So what you were asking about the government and supplying and why it's not enough, it's the same with so many other industries. I mean, we had trains with our Transnet and stuff.
Yeah.
But then you've still got taxis. And you've got minibus taxis, you've got private Ubers and meter taxis and the like. So government should be supplying all the transport. Should be public transport. Government should be ensuring that all our coal
But
is
they're
from like
failing.
government miles.
State entities are failing.
Yes.
Do you
And we don't
think
know if
there's
it's
a
corruption
deliberate
or
play
incompetence or it's deliberate.
All systems in SA are corrupt, dog. You go to Home Affairs, it's corrupt. Licensing department.
I'm saying
corrupt.
there's not even a single,
Which department is not corrupt, no, man?
for all of them, everything.
It's like there's this culture of corruptness. Like
Yes.
we need to be corrupt if we are a department for us to move. You understand?
Entrepreneurship is a problem as well in SA.
What?
Tender.
Yeah.
Because there's a serious rise in tenderpreneurs.
Black,
Nah, but ever since
Black.
Cyril-
Black.
please be clear. Tenders is not something the ANC came with. There were tenders during apartheid.
Yeah. I'm not
People
saying,
just don't speak about it. And the bulk of the tenders in this country still go to white businesses. You talk about the rise of visible black tenderpreneurs. Yes, that's correct. And it's because of them that everyone speaks about tenders now. It's
Yeah,
like the coal mining. When the Gupta's got a mine, all of a sudden when they discuss who's selling coal to Eskom, no one had ever asked before. No one knew. I think the Guptas were selling like 5%. No one was asking about the other 95%. Who the fuck is selling the coal to Eskom? We don't know. Today, your president and Glencore are selling coal to Eskom at a premium. But that's not a thing. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So-
Whole Mafia vibes.
You know what, Doc? Let's get to your backlash. And people on Twitter, I've
Yeah.
realized that some of them, they don't really like you.
Yeah. Well, that's debatable, but sure. It looks like they don't like me.
Yeah, it
And-
looks like, but you know, which that can also be altered and controlled, paid
Is he
promo.
misunderstood, Penuel, or people just don't really? I don't know. Because with the AfriForum move, I think that's where it took a huge turn. That you are with AfriForum. You just want to understand your link with AfriForum and what people say about it and where you think people don't understand you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, a lot of people misunderstand me, and a lot of people don't like me, which is fine. And a lot of people should not like me,
Yeah, you're not
which
Jesus,
is fully
man.
fine. They don't have to like me. I'm not.
Jesus.
That guy was crucified, dog. So there were definitely people that didn't like him.
But they
know
like
what I mean?
him today.
Some don't. So
Mm.
I'm misunderstood for many reasons. One of them being, again, you have to be an out-of-the-box thinker, and you must be willing to go deeper and get into the context. On Twitter, there's people that share clips of our videos, and they share the clips that they know will have like the highest reach.
The
You know,
controversial
The
one.
controversial ones. Yeah, fuck the ANC. Shit. Clip.
Let's take that one.
And it's like, don't you fuck the ANC. It's like, no, man, he was making an example. But people don't go deeper because people are lazy. They're lazy
Yeah.
thinkers. They prefer outsourcing, like the government. They outsource their thinking to politicians, pastors, mainstream media, and I guess some social media people today. There are people that don't like me, and it's fine. I mean, if your belief is that AfriForum is a white racist, white supremacist organization, and you truly believe that, and you know that I'm a paying member, then you shouldn't like me. And you should be allowed to not like me. If you were to hear some of my feelings, some of my thoughts, Slug asked earlier, or said earlier, that it seems like I've given up on black people. And I didn't get a chance to respond to that. If some people were to know some of my thoughts around Africa and Africans, they should hate me. Because it'd be like, nah, fuck this guy, man. And that's okay. I joined AfriForum as a paying member last year. I've been flirting with the idea for the past maybe 5 to 10 years. As an organization, I like the way they move. I like the work they're doing.
Maybe we are not educated.
Yeah, I think.
What is
you know what they should
AfriForum
do,
all
man.
about?
Yeah.
Dog? Yeah. What is AfriForum all about, and why are you?
So
a
I've
paid
made
member?
videos. People don't watch them. People are not interested. They're lazy. Again, I've posted links because I'm not an AfriForum ambassador. I'm not trying to recruit people for AfriForum. AfriForum doesn't pay me.
Yeah.
You know, it's like if I was I donate to Gift of the Givers. I'm not trying to, hey guys, Gift of the Givers, give them money. I'm not part of leadership, nothing. It's obviously controversial because people don't like AfriForum. Some of the cases they've taken on, I don't like and I don't support. I don't support them trying to bring back the apartheid flag. I think that's bullshit.
Yeah, that's fucking
yeah,
bullshit.
that's-
I thought it was bullshit them taking Omar Lima to court for
kill the
Dubuli Punu.
Punu, yeah.
But it was meant to be a conversation, not a court thing. There's some of the things they do that I don't like. But some of the things they do, mostly in white Afrikaans neighborhoods, because their core is white Afrikaner people, but then they also fight for other minority groups.
Yeah.
So a minority group could be anything. Could be Indians, could be Asians, it could be clever blacks, who are like, yeah, but the ANC and the EFF don't represent us. So
Didn't they try to represent Senzo Meiwa, like
Yeah.
Senzo Meiwa's brother?
So they took up the Senzo Meiwa case
Yeah.
when government and the police were trying to pocket, like AKA now, Tips. They came and they're like, this is
Very sad.
bullshit. And their whole thing was like, Senzo Meiwa as captain of Ibafana is no different to a Sia Kolisi, no different to a Francois Pinar. This is like an icon. And you're telling me our government and other people are not going to take this case seriously. So AfriForum was like, we're going to step in with our resources and come through with a heavyweight, I think it was Gerinel
Yeah.
at the time. They've helped a royal family in the Free State get recognition because government had sidelined them. You guys are not royalty. And they went to help them fight to be recognized.
I think they have some sort of patriotic vibe.
They're very patriotic to this country.
But it's just, you know how SA is divided. you know.
Yeah. So the other thing is they patrol the borders. Part of it is for selfish interest because there's some farmers, they go Musina, white Afrikaans farmers who don't like Zimbabweans coming in illegally. But then it's also part of the service for the country because the government has failed to create sufficient borders.
Yeah.
So they doing that,
Useless.
which benefits other people. So for those reasons, I'm like, I will donate to the work you're doing because clearly someone has dropped the ball. But there are many other organizations in this country doing amazing work. But if I tell you I've joined a black group, Alex, that's not spicy.
That's not going to.
That's
trend.
not cool. That's not going to trend. People are not
Because
going to
they
want
made
to
it seem
join.
as
And
if Ngati he's the first black person to join AfriForum.
there's a lot, by the way. A lot of them just will never speak out because they're scared of the backlash. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things. I mean, the ANC has got a lot. The ANC and the EFF have got non-black members of parliament. They're
Yeah.
not even just normal members. Members of representing.
There's the
But
Chinese.
IFP
or
has got
Asian lady.
Indians
There's
and
an Asian
the
lady.
Chinese.
Well, Asian. She's not from China. Is she from China?
Okay, Asian.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's me and AfriForum. And look, I joined and I wanted to tell people I joined so that other people could be brave enough to say it. And it was also meant to be a call to action that, like, guys, look at this organization, it's doing good work. When people are like, yeah, why don't you contribute to a black? I'm like, point me in that direction. If you can show me a black, colored Indian group that's doing something similar. Gift of the Givers was initially started by Muslims.
Yeah.
You know, it's got a very Islamic underpinning. And look at the work they're doing. When communities don't have water, when things are
Better
fucked up,
than
they're
the
there,
government.
building homes, feeding people. You know what I mean? So if you've got an organization doing the right thing, bro, I'll be there. Because I believe in what they're doing. And we have to try and find good people that are doing good work and bring them together. So that's what me joining AfriForum as a paying member was about. And people blew it out of proportion. Today they want me to defend again. I'm not getting paid. I think I should ask the guys at AfriForum to pay me to
Yeah.
become an ambassador. And then I can go and be like, this is the work we do at AfriForum. I normally send people to the link. I'm like, go look at their website. They have a website. Don't ask me. I don't work for them.
But all of that hate that you see on social media, doesn't it get to you?
It does.
Because you
He
know.
blocks them. He
Uh,
blocked them.
but
I
right?
block a
besides,
lot of people.
But besides blocking them, I'm asking more for personal questions because we don't know how he feels, my A1. And obviously, they say a lot of foul things,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty certain you
Including
never,
about my children.
about your children,
Motherfuckers.
yeah, deadbeats, things
Motherfucking
like
punk bitches.
that. Yeah,
You
I'm gonna
motherfuckers. You punk bitches.
address them, dog.
Nah. It's a shame.
Does
Oh.
it get to you?
Yeah.
Because you know we live in a world where we think someone is happy, next thing someone
Yeah.
is hung themselves.
Yeah.
Understand?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to know what you feel about all of that shit.
Thanks, Lord. You know, I've been depressed 3 times in my life. And the last one was really bad. It had to do with a woman and business failure, like owing people money. Many people, when they get depressed, they stay in that space. Some transcend to serious depression and then they take their lives.
Yeah.
My mind broke and I had the opportunity to rebuild it the way I want. So I'm kind of like reborn and I've rebuilt my mind in another way. So I kind of don't feel what other people feel now. So I can laugh shit off. I do feel, it's not that I don't, I do feel, but it doesn't hurt me. It annoys me, frustrates me.
Yeah.
And what it's also showing me is, look, people are very sad, man. And a lot of the people that attack me, bro, are in pain. You know, they're just crying and they're
They're
using
just
me.
projecting whatever they're
Yeah.
feeling like.
So I've got 6 kids from 4 moms. Now, if you happen to have a dad who was absent and he had kids with multiple women, and you hear me, you might be like, this motherfucker's like my dad. Hey, fuck you, nigga. I'm like, hey, dog, I ain't your daddy. You know, so I
Yeah.
think they're just venting and in pain. They don't know how my relationship with my children or the mothers of my kids. You hear I'm a paying member of AfriForum, then you think of some white Afrikaner who kills someone in your family during apartheid, and then you're like,
Yeah,
no, fuck, this
projecting.
guy is a sellout.
You're projecting.
So it's project because people are in pain, dog. So I remember that. I'm like, actually, people are in pain. But just because you're in pain doesn't mean, you know, there's a nice quote that says, just because you're crying doesn't mean you're right. A lot of women use emotions to try and win arguments. They start
Yeah.
crying, I can't believe. Now people are like, Slag, hey, Dwana, please. And you're like, nah, fuck her. Nah. So when you're crying, I must now feel bad. Nah, so just because you're coming at me sideways and I can see you're in pain, doesn't mean I have to feel sorry for you. Have a blocker.
Baba blog.
Block
I
your
block.
fucking ass. Some people I try to respond to when they're asking a question. Bro, don't you think this is bad for society, what you're doing? And I'm like, generally, I can agree, but my life is different. I don't recommend that guys go and get multiple women pregnant. It's not smart. And you
Yeah.
don't know how I live and how I move. Now you're trying to copy something you don't understand. Hey, dog, I'm also gonna start a religion like you. Hey, Dwana Zolimale. Because you don't know who you toes you want to step on and you're gonna get hurt. So just be careful of how you move. I'm living my truth and it works for me.
Yeah.
You can ask me questions if you're interested. You can criticize me if you think I'm fucked up. I don't mind. But don't come at me sideways, because then I'm like, this is disrespectful. And I block. And Twitter's such a dark space for people. But Jobangisho, the social workers and the therapists should be going to Black Twitter. My brother read a very hateful message. Some girl was graduating apparently.
Yeah.
She posted her pic, many congratulations. I think it might have been on Instagram. And apparently some guy commented, she probably fucked a lot of people to get her qualification. And my brother's like, probably means he doesn't know this chick. This guy maybe had like a girl break his heart and she graduated.
Projecting.
So my brother says he went and he DM'd this person and said, bro, wishing you love and light. I hope you have a really great week.
Yeah.
And he says he doesn't know if it's because of him or something else, but he went back and the comment was gone. Social
Yeah,
workers
kill
and
them with
therapists must go to
kindness.
Twitter and DM people and just be like, I saw you swearing at that person. I just hope you're okay and you're fine. That's
Alright.
it. Not that you're wrong, leave him alone. Just, I saw you swearing and I just hope you're okay.
Because, you know, I watched the interview or conversation you did, not Dr. Uma, in Fatunde.
Ifatunde. Power to the people. My black brother.
My brother.
Dr. Umar
And
Ifatunde.
There's this perception that was going around on Black Twitter, Uguti. It's like Nati was talking about you.
Yeah.
The things that he was saying were about you.
Yeah.
You see, he's not a real Pan-Africanist. He's a deadbeat. Dr. Uma said this. How do you feel about Integanjalo? Because I don't think Uguti, you did that interview or conversation with the hopes of Uguti people are going to see it in that manner or in that way. Is that even factual? Is that the truth?
That was the latest case study in the inferiority complex of the black man. The black man, given an opportunity to learn from a Pan-Africanist about the rise of the black man, would rather entertain his tiny fucking brain on bullshit about a platform, dog, for someone to come and school you on the greatness inside you. And you'd rather focus your fucking energy on me.
With the High
Flames.
Frequency Podcast, we got the Black Pen. Penuelism.
Where were we?
Angcwele ngama liyachapha.
That's the sword pen in Afrikaans. But,
Where were we?
you were asking about social media and Twitter, and you were asking
Yeah.
about a sit-down I had with Bianca Costa.
Yeah.
And I said that really it upset me. Some of the responses from social media, black females, and then some of the people in the industry. I thought that was quite pathetic.
Yeah, because that was a dark day. It was so divided.
Yeah.
People that you thought Uguti would be in supportive of what he was trying to do were totally against it. It was so weird to me. No, he's sleeping with Bianca,
Yeah.
fuck him. You know, like
Yeah.
what Nota was saying, what Chris was also saying. It was just crazy because I'm like, but are people listening to the story? What
The
this
lady's
girl...
literally saying her mental health has been affected. And it's a fat joke. And I'm like, now if people come and colonize and kill and beat.
My
So-
girlfriend
so-
actually cried about that, you know that?
I can imagine.
She
Look
cries about the fact that that guy uses that girl's picture.
Sure.
And so, but then I'm like, he's a legit catfish. You know, I guess by Twitter standards, by Elon standards. Via trend, we acknowledge,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I'm a catfish
There's
account.
nothing wrong
so
with...
there's nothing wrong with him using that
Yeah.
picture. You
There's nothing
understand?
wrong with Chris Excel. There's nothing wrong with him using the picture. He can do whatever he wants. There's a difference when someone whose picture you're using speaks up and says, hey, I see you using my picture. It's actually affecting my real life negatively. Please, can you consider? And then you make it a fat joke and do nothing about it and continue bullying this chick. That's when I'm actually like, fuck you, for real. We can crack jokes, but when someone comes and say, hey, dog, you know, highest
One day
frequency...
He posted a video and he was angry after. You posted a video, right?
Yathukana kuPenuel.
Thukana kakhulu.
Really?
Yeah.
Yabathuka abantu.
I posted a video
Did you
angry
post
about
a
that.
video? I think there's a video you posted when you were angry about something, but sorry.
No, I post a lot of angry videos. I don't know
Yeah.
if I posted an angry video about that.
Is that how you vent?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Social
ranting.
media is like my own therapy as well. It's where I also cry,
Okay.
but I just try to be constructive every now and then. So
And you don't care what you say at that, like in that moment.
no, I always care. I think about almost everything I say. Almost, there are so many things I don't say. People think like I've got a loose tongue and I'm unfiltered. I'm very filtered. So if you hear me saying, I hope they fucking die and fuck them, you must know that I've thought about it. Because there's a lot of things I don't say. There's a lot of people's names I don't mention. There's a lot of things happening in this country and globally that I don't mention intentionally. So it doesn't matter how angry, pissed I am, I will never say. You know, Ramaphosa, I'll criticize him always on his presidency. But you won't hear me going for him as a father and his kids. I think that's pathetic and low. So I would never do that. There's like some level of respect. And I think that's why a lot of the politicians that I have relationships with, a lot of the business people, they can see that. They can see that there are lines that I don't cross. It's a form of respect. But I can criticize your work and saying, fuck your work. And you don't care about your customer. But there are lines that I don't cross. So I don't black out. I'm constantly conscious, even in my anger.
Rob in picture,
Rob is a friend, yes. I think that's the easiest answer. Yeah.
in picture, like fairly, like dot.
Yeah, you see, when you say it like that, it's tricky.
Like, who are your top 5 hip hop artists in SA? Old school, new school combined.
Yeah, the best rapper, the best hip hop artist in South Africa was AKA,
Okay.
in my opinion. Best hip hop businessman, maybe, if I were to put it. Undoubtedly, I think Casper Nyovest.
Okay. So he's number 2.
No, I'm not putting him at number 2. I'm speaking about him in his own category.
Okay.
Because when we say hip hop artist, we're talking overall.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if AK is even like the dopest rapper. I mean, people like Pro Kid in terms of lyrics, boy. You know, Pro Kid by Anisa in terms of lyrics and the like. So,
No, the criteria, I think, let's just stick to who's the biggest hip hop brand.
biggest brand,
Yeah. Who do you love?
AKA, bro.
Okay.
Rest in
Obviously,
peace
we
to
have to
AKA.
rest in peace to AKA. Nasty C is pretty dope. Like he just came out of nowhere and he's on people's like top 5, top 10
What do you think about
dopest.
KO?
Most consistent hip hop artist in South Africa ever. Very talented. Has made sure he's had like almost 0 scandals, and I think he generally gets along with everyone in the game. KO is pretty dope. I really love OK Malum Cool Cat, and it's really sad what happened to him because after there were sexual allegations overseas.
Allegations. Didn't he get prosecuted and sentenced?
He was prosecuted and said, it's
Is he
trickier than
allowed
that. He
back in- I don't
wasn't
think
he wasn't
he's allowed
found
back in that
he
country.
wasn't found guilty and jailed. Like there was a thing, he was punished nyana,
Yeah.
and then there was it's not as clear cut. It's not he did something and then he was jailed and then he was released after doing what he did. It's a bit more complicated than that.
Yeah,
but anyways, he could never recover from that, I think. But he's arguably been a pitch black, but maybe more him, arguably the most creative hip hop artist we've had in the country.
Lazi Milan is one of the best hip hop albums in this country.
Jeez.
Shota ngemali yamalobolo.
Not even
Classic.
that, there's other crazy songs there about Galileo. And
Probably the most creative hip hop
Yeah.
artist we've had in this country. I mean, when you think creativity overseas, you think Busta Rhymes, Missy Elliott, in terms of just thinking out the
So
box.
do you think that sound should be close to what South African hip hop should sound like?
Me? No. I think Amachite Josie were onto something with Motherland Crunk. When they started, what's it called? Sampling Mpakanga and like Omaskani.
That was the South African hip hop sound.
I thought that's where South African hip hop was going. It's like, say, let's bring old school Brenda Fassie. Look, AKA flirted with old school.
KO also does that. He brings back
Flirting
the-
with old sounds. Bring in like a Ladysmith Black Mambazo, do some vernac, you know, the Mutswako guys, Okulichana and them. I thought that's where we were.
Ne?
So OK Malum Cool Cats, I think, is the future of South African hip hop sound. And even fashion. And
Yeah,
just
straight
style.
up.
What Ama Boys and Parks and those guys were doing, even Abo Ricky Rick, those guys are like the future of South African
Yeah.
swag. Not what the sound is meant to be like now.
Hey, gone are those days, dog. Those were
Yo, Ricky Rick, also rest in peace, man. Double HP,
Yeah.
rest in peace.
pro.
Hey, the
kid.
hip hop industry. Pro Kid, rest in peace. Flabber, rest in peace. Motherfuck. Squatter Camp. Yeah, shisa back in the day, boys. So yeah. Hey, we've lost gents.
Hey, man, this was
We've actually lost
this was a
chance.
great episode, ne?
This was a great episode.
I
I'm
think
happy.
the gods are gonna enjoy this episode, man. To all the
Definitely.
gods, they should know Guti Higher Sophia was in control. Guys, are we good then?
Yeah.
Hey, you guys are, these guys are worrying me.
Flames.
Thank you so much for the invite, man. I
Ah.
really appreciate it. I really appreciate the questions. Even though you guys would jump to the next answer, but thanks. Slug, thank you.
Yes,
And to the gents at the back, am I allowed to give a shout out?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can.
Azi, Marcelo, and Motions. Thank you so much to the
Shout
gents.
out,
Appreciate
shout
you.
out, shout out.
Okay.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
Puti!
Guys, keep pushing.
Advice for the podcast to grow.
Take yourself seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Take yourself seriously. Take yourself seriously. Try and find a podcast overseas that is doing really well, that is in line with kind of the flavor you want, and then try and copy and paste what they do. And whenever you're unsure of a guest or whatever, try and figure out, try and find out the back end. How many people do they work with? What equipment do they use? But take yourself seriously. And then once you're on here, because you know what you're doing, just go all in.
Highest frequency podcast, we out of here.